it's Sharon Armstrong, bringing you today this cute little card. I hope you enjoy this video, and if you do, give me a thumbs up, and I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. After you've subscribed, you can hit the little bell right beside the subscribe button, and then that way you'll know when I make the next video, you can see it. Stay tuned till the end, because I have a way for you to get all of the instructions at the end of the video. So thanks for watching. So here is that beautiful card that I showed you. It is so simple to do, and I wanted to share with you all the products that I use to make the card. First of all, I use the Detailed with Love and the Trio Punch. This is a bundle. It is on page 39 of the new annual catalog. So these are all of the stamps that you receive in the kit or in the set. And then there's some other items that they recommend. So the little faceted dots, there's that punch. Here's that beautiful, delightfully detailed laser cut paper. And then there's also some detailed note cards that are all already colored. And then you can also get, if you just love the words and everything, you can also get the memories and more in the delightfully detailed. So really, really fun. Don't forget, it comes as a bundle. You get the punch and the stamp set at 10% off. So when I started looking at the samples, I was like, do I have to have the note cards? Nope. Figured out so many cards to use with this, and I'll be sharing those with you in the next upcoming videos. So the colors that I'm using is Gorgeous Grape and Granny Apple Green. Love these two colors together. Here's the card again, super pretty. I went ahead, let me show you the stained glass vellum. Lots of pieces, okay? And when you notice, like, look at this, like, you could cut this apart and have 4 different cards made from one sheet. So I think there's another one of the one that I used. Let's see here. There should be like 2 or 3 of each one. Oh, here it is. So I took this one for this card and I cut along the black lines, and that's how I laid it on here. So for today, I picked this piece because I'm gonna make 4 cards using these 4 panels, okay? Don't worry about the instructions. You will be able to get all the instructions, the measurements and everything on my blog. So I've already, for time's sake, I've already stamped so many of my smiles begin with you. And I chose to use the Stitched Shaped, and this is the oval. And then I'm layering it using the Layering Ovals Framelits. If you don't have the stitch shapes, just go ahead and use the oval that corresponds to the scallop. So don't worry about it, but I picked the stitch because that looked like stitching there. So that's why I went that way. So I have my Whisper White, and I'm going to be punching using the punch on 2 of the corners. I love this punch. I have used it so much. I especially like the little piece that allows me to put ribbon through my cardstock. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and just adhere this to our Granny Apple Green card base. And there we go. So I have my layers of, see, look how pretty they look together. I just love the Gorgeous Grape and the Granny Apple Green. So pretty. So we're gonna go ahead and adhere these 2 together. And I had to make, I'll show you, I had to make my Granny Apple Green layer the same as my Whisper White. So that was like 5 1/4 because it took every bit of it. So there's lots of 1/8 this and 1/8 that on my measurements. So like I said, whoops. I can't put my head straight over the cardstock, so I was a little bit off. We'll start at the top this time. I don't want you to see my hair, I want you to see the card. Okay, so we're gonna add this to our card front. Whoops. Okay, line this up. Normally I would have come down a little bit, but like I said, because of the size of the vellum, I couldn't do that. So, all right. When you're coloring the vellum, I'm just using the Stampin' Right markers. You could use the Stampin' Blends, but you need a wet type of coloring. Like watercolor pencils probably wouldn't look as good, but you could try it if you wanted to. You could color on the front because it's super easy to stay in the lines. But I want to show you how it's darker when you do it on the front versus flipping it over. Let that dry for a second. Yep. It does take a few seconds to dry on the vellum. So let's just color here and you'll see the difference. Totally different look, but it's however you want to do it. So see, it's a little bit darker when you color on the front versus coloring on the back. Since I did the front, I'm going to go ahead and do the front on this whole flower. And the images are kind of embossed just slightly, so it's pretty easy to stay in the lines. I think for a different look, I'm going to flip it over and do this one on the back. Oh, and I'll show you another fun thing to do too, so. Okay, so another fun thing to do is just to add a little bit of on the front. You could just kind of go in the center a little bit and give it more of a two-tone look. Just for something different. So yeah, just play with it. Have a good time with it. There's no right or wrong way to do this. It is your card and you can do whatever you want. I think since I went ahead and colored all of the ones on the front, I'm going to go ahead and do this one the same, just so they look the same. But I just wanted you to see the difference when you color on the front versus coloring on the back. Okay. Now we're switching to the Granny Apple Green. I love this bright green color. I love lemon lime twist, so this is just right along that same color color line, I guess I'd say. It's just so fun, especially for the summer. I forgot one of the petals. I am going to switch because this is pretty skinny in here to the finer tipped end. Grab my gorgeous grape. Isn't this pretty, guys? You could use any colors you wanted. I mean, all of your cards could look totally different than mine, following the same layout, just switching up the colors. Okay, how do you stick vellum to your card without seeing the adhesive? That's what we're gonna learn now. I have a little baggie with a sponge in there that says glue. This is not gonna be used for anything else except for the multi-purpose liquid glue. You've probably seen this trick, but if you haven't, I want to share it with you. Okay. So if I was to put glue dots or snail or any kind of adhesive on the back, you would be able to see through it. Let's see. Let me grab a glue dot and show you what I mean. See it? See the glue? We don't want that. So, we're going to take that off. With our little eraser that takes all that adhesive off that we don't want. And we're going to put a little pool of the multi-purpose glue on our silicone mat. You could use the baggie, you could use a plate, but everybody has a silicone mat by now, right? You guys know I use this all the time. So I want to take and really mush out, that's a word, right? Really get that thin. And then it's almost like a Post-it note kind of feel on the back of my vellum. It's just going to be a subtle, move this out of the way. I kind of bent that. Oh dear. Hopefully I can straighten it out. So now we're going to lay this down. Fix my little crease there. Okay, there you go. All right. So I can barely see some adhesive, but it's nowhere near like seeing a blob of a glue dot or snail, and nothing like that. So it's very subtle. Okay, so I mentioned that I've already cut these out. I'm gonna go ahead, add some snail to the back. Such a great everyday use adhesive. And then, let's see if I can get this on straight. It's really hard with the camera right where my head is. That's pretty good. Okay. And then we're gonna pop this up with some dimensionals, which is another one of my favorites. Digging my fingernails in, pulling that backing off. And this works even if you don't have glittery red nails like I do. So then we'll center that right there. And that is done. I have one more tip that I want to share with you. When I was doing a Facebook Live, someone asked me, how do you keep your silicone mats so clean? I was like, what do you mean? She said, mine have adhesive all over them. So I have another one. I knew this wouldn't be dry good enough for the video, but I have these all over my studio. So I have another one that has some adhesive on it. I don't know if you can see it, but I was using the delightfully detailed laser cut paper, and so it's the shape of that paper, and you can just take and use your finger. If you don't want to use your finger, you could grab a paper towel, and this glue, can you just see it balling up? It just comes right off. There's no need to take it to the sink and wash it off. You just use a paper towel or your fingers and just get that glue off. Okay, there we go. Answered that question for you. Even if you didn't have that question, somebody asked a question of me, I think somebody else might have a question. So I just want to help you guys enjoy what you do, enjoy making cards, and even enjoying the cleanup if you have to. So thanks so much for watching, guys. So what did you think? Pretty simple card, very elegant. And as I showed you, when you cut apart that Graceful Glass Vellum Designer Series paper, you can get a ton of cards just out of one sheet. So I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend it with me. And don't forget, go get those instructions. The link is in the description below. So thanks again, guys.